And Esade, from the first impression, was perfect.
And we saw the campus for the first time, and we both had like this feeling. We stopped for a second and we were like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be good here, you know?
My first sentence was café con leche.
They call you guapa, cariña, guapísima, reina. This just makes your day.
Mom, there's this thing about how they celebrate Christmas you could have never guessed.
The stereotype of like Canada, America, like you go in PJs, it's true.
How many different perspectives you hear, how many different things that you observe.
They really appreciate their people time.
Latin America and Asia and Africa and Australia, and you can find all of those different, yeah.
At the end of the day, you connect because you're fundamentally human.
Topics. Culture shock.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Topics podcast, which is a podcast run by undergraduate students here at Esade who are here to speak to you about their opinions, thoughts, and experiences that are unfiltered and that they want to share with you today. Whether you are someone that is already in the Esade community or thinking of joining, or just someone willing to live in Barcelona, this podcast is for you. So today our topic is regarding culture shocks, living in Barcelona, and some of the experiences that we had. My name is Nour. I'm a Canadian third-year BBA student here at Esade, and I'm joined with...
Well, first, thank you for introduction, Nour. My name is Mariyam. I'm from Kazakhstan, and I'm the fourth-year Bitlasi student.
Thank you for the introduction as well. I am Leo. I am from Macedonia, also a third-year BBA student, so your colleague.
Nice to meet you guys. Okay, so I just want to start off by saying that, obviously coming from different cultures and seeing as to how diverse and multicultural Esade really is, I think that something super important today is we're going to speak about the culture shocks that many of us may face and the experiences and some opportunities that we've seen and we've witnessed here in Barcelona. So starting off, I just want to ask you guys, what was it coming in your first year and living in Barcelona?
Well, in many ways, it was different from home. Obviously, we all come from different parts, but also in many ways, very similar. Because I found Spanish people to be very welcoming, very upbeat, just like people you would find on the Balkans, where I come from, in Macedonia. The weather also, it seemed very like home, even milder, which is much better. So a bit less hot in the summer and a bit less cold in the winter. So everything seemed pretty cozy, and it was an environment very easy to settle into. But obviously there was like a lot of differences, especially cultural.
I can really relate to the friendliness of the local people, because here, as a foreigner, I feel so much more accepted whenever I go to a supermarket or a cafe, or even here at Esade, at the cafeteria. They call you guapa, cariña, guapísima, reina. This just makes your day, and it makes you feel more integrated into the local community.
For me personally, I cannot relate regarding weather, because coming from Canada, it's quite a difference. Here I see the Spanish people dressing in the Canada Goose coats that we wear when it's negative 30 degrees, and then I look at my weather app and it's actually 12 or 13, and I want to cry a little bit. But with regards to the Catalan culture, I think Catalan people and Spanish people in general have been some of the kindest and most gentle people that I've ever met in my life, and they're super willing to sort of encourage you even when you're learning the language. I only spoke Arabic, English, and French coming to Esade, and learning Spanish at first was super hard, especially because the closest thing that I had to it was French, so it's a little bit difficult with regards to pronunciation. But I think that Esade also does a really good job of preparing you with that, because we take Spanish every single week, and I still do. I don't know, what about you guys?
Well, I feel like all the international students can relate to that, but we speak at least 2 languages. In my case, I speak 4, and my native language is very different to Spanish, although I also spoke French, which helped me a lot to practice my Spanish speaking skills. And the best thing is that Spanish people and Catalan people are very open to hold conversations with you, even if you make a lot of mistakes when you're speaking with them. And apart from that, the local culture, you can really feel the Catalan culture here. And I live in Gracia personally, and there are celebrations all the time, and you see people doing something for the community and being so united. And for me, this is the part I really like about living in Barcelona.
I think that's something super special as well here, is Spanish people know how to celebrate. Every month there's something to celebrate. We just passed by La Merce, but personally my favorite is Sant Jordi, when we go around and you see all the red roses everywhere. Even though the traffic jam in Plaza Catalunya is a bit horrible, but I think it's something that that I think everyone should experience at least once in their life.
I feel like when you combine these two things, which is one, the Spanish people being so encouraging and welcoming for people trying to integrate into their culture, and then all of these events and celebrations they have, I think no matter how different of a background you come from, at the end, it really makes for an easy adaptation. And I have this impression that I was very happy to be part of this culture now, you know? I didn't feel like I was forced to or anything. I was just happy that everybody was like kind of trying to integrate you. And on the point of Spanish, by the way, I think I'm like Esade Spanish is amazing. I've been happy with all of my professors and everything. But I think I've actually perfected my Spanish in the cafeterias, both on campus and in Barcelona. Trying to like push yourself out of the comfort zone, you know. Even when you don't know as much, you talk, and as you guys said, like people really encourage you. They talk back to you. They're like, "Oh, muy bien," and everything. Yeah. So
yeah, I think my first sentence was café con leche, and it went upwards from there.
You
But
start there. We
yeah,
all
yeah,
start
we
there.
all start somewhere.
Con tarjeta, por favor.
Yeah, that's a common one.
Sí, sí. But okay, with regards to Esade in general, I don't know about you guys, but I think I've had an incredible experience. I was super scared to start off in Esade because I didn't know anyone. I mean, I took the chance of coming from Canada to Barcelona by myself. And it was something truly incredible for me because I got to meet people of different cultures and experience different things that for sure I would have never seen in Canada. So what about you guys?
Well, Kazakhstan is a complete different experience from Spain, and especially the setting of university here. I've never been to university in Kazakhstan. I came straight away for my undergraduate experience, and Esade, from the first impression, was perfect. Like, everything is so big. The room that we had in Bitlasi, right now I'm in the 4th year, so it's a bit like I'm very used to it. But we used to have such beautiful views on Sant Cugat, and it was green, and it felt so innovative. The spaces, you know, I really, really felt that I was part of something cool and something bigger, you know.
Yeah, it sort of kind of feels like this educational utopia you walk into, especially when you go from the park and like you come to the campus and you're greeted by, I mean, the architecture of our building, the first time I saw it, I thought it was kind of a spaceship, you know? That's how it looked to me because it's like, you know, both I would say big in scale when you see it from afar, and also very modern and everything, which is completely different to what I'm used to of thinking of when thinking about a university and how a university building looks. So I was definitely greeted by like this very positive landscape. And when I arrived, I still remember myself and my mother. We were going with our suitcases, and we saw the campus for the first time, and we both had like this feeling. We stopped for a second, and we were like, okay, yeah, it's gonna be good here, you know. So I think it's also a very good welcoming point if you're in Barcelona to be part of the Esade culture, because as you said, you get to meet people from all sorts of cultures in the world, but also they do a big effort in actually integrating you, educating you about the Catalan culture, the Spanish culture, and everything. I don't see a better place that you could start your kind of journey into Barcelona if not Esade, you know.
I completely agree. I think on that note, there's a lot of stands all the time regarding like celebrations. I think my favorite one is the one of the chestnuts and the sweet potatoes. That's I'm waiting for that to come.
Castañada, I think it was called, yeah.
And the roses they did for San Jordi, sometimes it's cookies, it's coffee. I think there's always something happening at Esade as well. And I think something super special about Esade as well is the associations. We have, I think, 31 official associations this year. And I don't know, for me, I think it's an incredible opportunity to sort of discover new passions, foster your own, and meet new people, whether it be from different cultures, degrees, years. I've had the opportunity to be a part of the student council and of ESFS, and I think that those two have truly shaped me into what I want to become, and have given me the opportunity to collaborate with other people as well. But I don't know if you guys have had that opportunity as well.
Yeah, I was the president of the gourmet club.
Wow.
People might have seen me doing reels of cooking, and we actually did a celebration of calçotada together with student council and I don't remember the second. Well, we did this celebration.
CA, I think.
CA, yeah,
Yeah.
CA, yeah. And it was amazing. Like being able to be part of such a big student community and then at the same time celebrating Catalan traditions together is really good, and it's really amazing for the newcomers to Esade. And yeah, I just in general, I really enjoy the culture here at Esade.
I love it when there's stands with free food on campus. that's always kind of food brings people together. So
Yeah.
that's always a good sight. But one specific thing that I remember finding particularly shocking was learning about Catalan Christmas and the cagatillo.
I
And
see.
then it was so funny. It was so funny to explain. For example, I talk to my parents, and then I go, Mom, there's this thing about how they celebrate Christmas you could have never guessed. The Christmas tree and the presents and Santa? Well, forget that. Forget that. Now we have this log that we have to feed, and eventually it has to get big, and eventually on Christmas it's gonna, well,
Poop
let's say
out
poop out the
presents.
presents. Yeah. And I don't know, like for me, at least I saw it. I could see it, and okay, this kind of exists. I don't know what my mom imagined being like just on
On
like
the
the other,
call.
yeah, on the call. But I'm guessing it was very bizarre for her as
Yeah.
well, not being able to see it, just hear about it.
I think you feed it clementines, no? Or like the little
Yes.
oranges.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
oranges are really good here in winter, though.
Yes. I think they're seasonal in winter, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, citrus.
Yeah.
But I mean, on the note of culture shocks, I just want to hear some of your. I mean, I have my personal ones, but I want to hear some of your culture shocks just coming into Spain, Barcelona, Esade in general.
Well, I think in comparison to Kazakhstan, there are a lot of culture shocks that I could pinpoint. But the ones that I'm going to mention is probably first the fact that everything is closed on Sundays. Like, never in my life I experienced where I could not go to a supermarket on Sunday. But at the same time, it's such a beautiful thing because people respect their free time and their holidays. And like during holidays or Sundays, like you would see a lot of restaurants or cafes closed. And also during the week, you would have a break between lunch and
La
dinner.
siesta.
Yeah, la siesta. So that people can rest, can go to a cafe, speak with their friends, and have la siesta. And I think that's amazing because then you have this balance between work and life.
I think that's probably one of the parts that I like the most about Spanish culture and Catalan culture in general, that they really appreciate their people time. And like on Sundays, yes, most of the things are closed, but the thing that is most likely to be open is a bar, because on Sundays people want to socialize and they do that in bars. And I think also I've seen that there's, compared to not only Macedonia but to any other city in Europe, there's a very big concentration of specifically bars and restaurants compared to all other kinds of shops and stuff. So if you go on the street, for example, and there's like a row of 10 shops, probably like at least 5 or 6 of them are going to be bars, which is not the case anywhere. But people, that just reflects the fact that people really want to socialize. There is demand, economically speaking, for, well, sitting together at the bar, having a drink, and everything. And I think that's really, really beautiful. I would say something, it is similar to home, but also different in a way.
But I mean, me personally, I think clubbing and bars was a very big culture shock because in Canada, the clubs open at like 9 p.m., and then you go home 1 maybe. Here you go, you get to the club at 1, you go home at 6 a.m., you see the sunset on your Uber ride home. So that was certainly something new for me. But also for me was the dress. I mean, now I'm adapted, but in first year, I mean, in Canada, we have this place called Aritzia. They're kind of specialized in like loungewear, sweatpants, things like this. And it's like a sweatpant is $80, a sweater is $80, and like we used to find that super chic. So me coming into my first year, when the weather started to get a little bit fall, I would wear that and be super like happy in it until my Italian friends laughed in my face. And then I said, okay, maybe we change it up a little bit. And then, but you really notice, I mean, everyone on campus looks 100% all the time,
Yeah.
which is actually refreshing. Even though sometimes I just want to go home and the stereotype of like Canada, America, like you go in PJs, it's true.
Yeah.
And sometimes I miss that. But I don't know, anything else for you guys?
Well, I don't know if I can mention it, but the experience you get at Barceloneta the first time you come to Spain is that something that you don't expect. People are much more, let's say, open and comfortable. And I think that's also like the part of the culture, that people are so comfortable and open and casual, and they just don't care who you are, where you're from. They will treat you the same.
I think also one we mentioned before starting the recording was calling professors by their first name. that like I was very confused, and when the first time I heard someone call a professor by their first name, I was expecting a reaction like, okay, now something's gonna happen because he just disrespected the professor. And then when I saw the casual reaction, I was like, did I not hear that right, and then I realized eventually that that's probably like the norm here. And honestly, I kind of like it because that makes you subconsciously feel much closer to the professor and like humanize them in a way. So I think that really fosters like a better connection between students and professors. But I could never imagine that back home.
No, I think the same. I still address my emails, dear professor. So at least we have that bit. I don't know. For me, it's just super abnormal. I went to like a private school with like uniforms and stuff, so it was very like Mr. Miss. Coming here, I heard it. I was like, not for me.
Yeah,
But
same.
yeah,
Same. In Kazakhstan, you would never address the professor by their first name, but also you would use usted, or you would use the respectful form. And what I noticed here is that when you use usted to, let's say, older people to show respect, they correct you and say, no, 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 use tu because I'm not that old.
yeah.
And this also is from another point, like it's nice that people here, they feel young, they experience life, and they want you to see them at the same level.
Wow, 100%.
Yeah, I had this experience where we were at a bar and I was with some Latin American friends, and I was trying to speak Spanish, and I addressed the waiter with usted, as you said. And they started like laughing between each other. And then he went, getting the order. And then I was like, what's up, guys? Like, he was like, what do you mean usted? Like, he's not like the president or something. Just address him with tu. And this is where I realized, because this would be something completely normal, addressing with the respectful form, especially like a waiter, you don't really know him. But this would be, this here is kind of not frowned upon, but like, come on, man, just be casual.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
just generally want to be casual. They want to be close to each other. So this was probably one of the more positive culture shocks.
Yeah.
Skip the formalities. Just let's actually connect.
But I think
Yeah.
that's a very Spain thing, because even in French, like when you address someone you don't know or someone older than you, or even in a restaurant, you do use vous, which is like usted, kind of. It's like the more proper way of tu. So it's quite different as well, because I thought maybe the same, but not the same. But I don't know. I mean, something also for me was the food. I think the food here is much better than Canada, I can confirm. But the one thing I missed is iced coffees, because here café con hielo is a bit
They
bit
give you
different.
the
If you go
ice
to
on the side.
Yeah, but if you go to a specialty coffee shop,
Yeah, good news. I like
good
that.
news is
I like
nice,
them.
yeah.
But I mean, that's it.
I mean, I kind of miss the food home because, for anyone that doesn't know, and I'm guessing a lot of people don't know, Macedonian cuisine is incredible. Like, my honest recommendations, a bit subjective, I know. But also, this is very different in what kind of food it offers. But I really like the kind of Mediterranean Barcelona taste and everything. And also, special shout out to Patatas Bravas. They're incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you
I-
to the Catalan people or the Spanish people for making them, for inventing them.
Yeah, I completely agree. And especially me being a president of gourmet club in Esade, I'm all into food. For me, food is the most important thing in the world. And when I came to Spain, there's such a big diversity of different, let's say, dishes from different parts of Spain. And you can find them all here in Barcelona, and they're going to be cooked so well. And another thing is coffee. I got addicted to coffee here, but I don't think, I don't know if it's the Spanish culture or is it the Esade culture that anytime in the break, we go for coffee, café con leche.
Yeah, I think the biggest part also is like tapas, and how like Spanish people truly love to like share everything. Like everything has to be like a group activity, and I think there's just something super special about that. And I think a lot of that goes into Esade as well. I mean, with regards to associations, you can even meet people in the line at the cafeteria and just start talking to them. I mean, if I hear now American or Canadian accents, I turn around and give them the sort of like, where are you from? So I think it's super cool. But I think one of the most incredible events that we do at Esade is the campus party. And that's where, you socialize with the people that you already know, but you also meet new people that you've never met, or people that you've seen in the hallways and never spoken to. So I don't know about you guys, but for me, that's my personal favorite event at Esade. I've been to two, and this year will be my last year, and the third campus party.
Maybe your last year, maybe not your last campus party.
Maybe not.
I mean, I would hop back to the campus party, just come to visit, even when I've graduated. It's always a good time, as you said. It's kind of like, especially, it's very special when you're a student, because you all kind of share this common relief, or this common like we made it feeling. So I think that really amps the atmosphere as well.
Yeah, well, I cannot relate to you guys because I've never been to a campus
No.
party before.
You have to come this year.
Bydgoszcz people are a bit, let's say, on a different spectrum because we have the second and third year the trips to Shanghai and Berlin, where we spend 2 months living abroad in this international ecosystem. So we come back and the campus party is already gone, or like we have different.
We
yeah,
should
we're
wait for you
located
guys.
all over the world.
But you can come this year.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we have the internship, so we will
True.
see. We'll see how it goes.
Let's try to make it happen.
Yeah, let's try to make it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking about parties and everything, we also have El Paso coming up for us next week.
Super excited.
And this was something super special that I heard about. It's kind of like prom, but not. It's to mark your completion of half of your degree. And
I feel like it's just an excuse for us to celebrate.
yeah, it's an excuse to celebrate. I
Absolutely.
mean, with everything, I think in Spain, everything is a celebration. And everything is something special. Like, no matter how little it is, everything has to be blown up. And I think that's something pretty incredible for me.
Yeah, I went to El Paso last year.
Yeah.
It was actually a super nice experience. It feels
Yeah.
like prom.
Yeah, it was like prom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm happy that we have many reasons to be happy. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I mean, for me, I think one of the most important things also in Esade was meeting people of different cultures. So personally, I think that I've grew close to Italians, French, and the Spaniards. But I think that those three are so similar but so different at the same time. Which is, I mean, they all love football, they all love wine, they all love, the same thing, but at the same time, everything is always a competition. And I think that's something super special to see around campus, but I don't know.
But also for me, I'm in Bydgoszcz, so we have 26 different nationalities in our class. So you can imagine how many different perspectives you hear, how many different things that you observe in the class dynamic and outside of the class. And for me, that was one of the most beautiful parts of being here in Esade, because then I learned how to communicate, how to work with people from different cultures and to have fun. And we adapt to each other's habits or traditions. And for instance, when it comes to dinners, I know that, for instance, Spaniards or people from South Europe would be come a bit later, and
Oh,
the
God.
Germans would always be on time. And same with, let's say, group work. And you learn how to adapt to different cultures and take the best out of each.
I mean, I share some of these experiences like you guys, but honestly, my main takeaway from all of this is that however different we might be culturally, at the end of the day, you connect because you're fundamentally human. Like when you were saying like, oh, they all love football and they love wine and everything, I was like, guys, we're humans. We all like really love that, and that's kind of like some conclusion, like one of the most important conclusions that I've come to, like having all of these friends from all of these different places and cultures and everything. At the end of the day, because you're still human, you still feel in a way very, very similar at the end of the day. So I think it's a very nice experience, especially for me, because I was unsure of how I would connect with people of different cultures. I didn't think you could form a true bond like someone from your own culture, and I was a bit skeptical. But like looking back now, having some people that I literally see, I don't know, at my wedding or at important moments in my life still being with me that I met in Esade, I was like, okay, we made it, you know?
Yeah, that's a really good point. To connect with a person from a different background and still accept and appreciate them, it's amazing.
100, I think 100%. I don't know, for me, I mean, in Canada, my high school, ethnically, I guess, we had 50% Croatian, 50% Italian. There was really no in between. So coming here, it was super interesting to see how everyone is, and actually to see some stereotypes come to life. I mean, Spanish people super loud indeed, but like it's a lovable loud, like you want to join their conversation. I always like
I
listening
think
to their
that's why
conversation.
they're loud, I think.
It's incredible. Everything is interesting. I mean, the Italians, they play fight with each other all the time. The French are sort of reserved at first, but at the end of the day, I think they like Leo said, we're all human. They all like to have fun. So sooner or later, they do loosen up. So it's super, super nice to kind of see that.
Yeah, and not to mention also Latin America and Asia and Africa and Australia, and you can find all of those different
Oh, 100%.
different groups of people in Bydgoszcz, and it's a bit hectic, but it makes the experience more fun.
I bet.
If there is prospective students listening to this, thinking of coming to Esade, if you are from Latin America or from one of the Balkan countries, most likely you guys will be friends when you come to Esade.
Yeah.
That's one of the let's say connections I drew closest.
That's
that
pretty much your
surprised
friend
me.
group, eh?
Yeah, but that's why I didn't expect that at
Yeah.
first. I was very surprised to see how close we actually are, geographically completely opposite sides of the world, especially. But it's a very beautiful feeling when you realize, okay, we literally lived two different lives, different time zones even. Like I was going to sleep when you were waking up, and we're completely on different sides of the world, yet we're so similar. It's beautiful. It's beautiful when it hits you, the realization.
Yeah, I think also something that comes from that is the exchange students that come in. Last year we had a ton from Canada and I felt so like truly happy. I'm like, wow, finally, you know, because I mean here there's not many. Well, there's not any. So when I see the exchange students from back home, it just makes me feel like a little warm inside. And something super special this year, I've a few people reached out for me to me from Canada, asking they wanted to apply to Esade. So that was something super special and something nice to see that like you know one day it'll keep going because at this point I mean we have so many cultures and I think give it 10 years we'll have 196 countries in Esade, to be honest.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Also, as a Kazakh girly, seeing such a big community of Kazakh people in Esade is quite shocking. I would
Yeah.
not think that. I thought I would be the only one, but then I see more people, and when I introduce myself and I say I'm from Kazakhstan, they're like, "Oh, I know another girl from Kazakhstan. Oh, I know like these two people from Kazakhstan." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
And it makes me feel so happy because the community of Europe is growing to know what Kazakhstan is, where we are from, what Central Asia is, and for me this is amazing because my whole life when I was traveling around the world, Kazakhstan is a big country, but it's normally not so recognized, and it being recognized makes me feel happy.
yeah, honestly, I was surprised even how many Kazakh people there are here. And I don't know. I think it's also very good when you have like usually underrepresented culture, a bit overrepresented in a certain place like Esade, because then you get to learn actually more about it and kind of get to do this like
It
regular
balances
level.
out,
Yeah, it
yeah.
does balance out. Also, there's a lot of Georgians, for example,
Yeah.
more than you might think. And I've become friends with a few of them, and they really also are very interesting people just in general.
Do you think that there's a need to adapt to Spanish culture or is it more of an integration type of thing?
Well, I think whenever you're going to a new place, you have to keep reminding yourself that you have to be open. You cannot change the local culture. People have
100%.
been living here for hundreds of years and they have their own way of living. You have to respect that and be open and learn. And I think that would make your experience so much easier and go so much smoother.
Yeah, 100%. I think we all kind of have this, I wouldn't say duty, but kind of responsibility to treat the local culture respectively. But I don't think that you would be forced to adapt or to assimilate in the culture. I think you can get off pretty well just like by respecting it, so you don't have to actively be preaching about all of the holidays and going on the streets with the San Jordi roses. But I think you will naturally come to do it because it's such an accepting culture, as we talked about in the beginning. But also, there is pretty, especially in Asadi, there's a lot of space for you to practice your own culture and to kind of spread its unique values here. Show it to the people. People are generally accepting of it. So I think it's also an integration thing where you integrate, but also enough for you to also keep the elements of your culture
Yeah.
visible.
And aside from that, do you guys have any tips or tricks for people coming into Esade, people that are planning to live in Barcelona in general, people that are already in Esade? I don't know.
Get Spanish friends and Catalan friends if you want to learn the language. That's the only way.
Speak Spanish even when you don't feel like you know it. Like that's getting out of your comfort zone is how you're gonna actually learn the language. People really will not correct you on your grammar in the cafeteria. They might just encourage you. They like will fix you up for a word or if you're missing it or something. But it's actually the way you're gonna learn it and the way you're gonna integrate into the culture quicker. Especially like when the people see that you're putting in effort, they want to give back to you. So that's a tip for quicker integration, I would say.
And I also think every celebration that happens, don't just stand aside and look at them. Be part of it, experience it. I don't know,
Amazing tip.
gather up with your friends and do something for that celebration, and it's gonna make you feel part of the culture.
I mean, I agree with both of you. I think that the most incredible thing that you can do in Esade and Barcelona is just to be involved, whether it be the celebrations that you see, whether it be certain things that you see on campus or around Barcelona, or things you hear about, or maybe even just joining certain clubs or associations or going out with friends. I think that taking advantage of that opportunity is something that you need to do to get the full experience of what it's like to be an Esade student or what it's like to live in Barcelona in general.
And the bottom line is, I think, just be curious. Because whenever I see, as I mentioned, whenever I see a stand on campus, I don't pass it by and be like, oh, this is something new. I really want to go. I really want to understand what it's about. And especially for cultural things and celebrations and stuff like that, I'm really interested in the origin. So what made these people celebrate this in this way, and stuff like that. And then you really get a sense of what's important to these people and how do they think. I think it's a really, you start developing a sort of empathy for the culture once you start being curious and asking, oh, how did this come to be?
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to add.
I mean, okay, well, thank you so much for joining today with regards to the U Topics podcast. And thank you guys for watching. Now, again, whether you are willing to kind of join the Esade community coming to Barcelona or are already in the Esade community, we hope that this podcast sort of showed you a little bit of insight and opinions and things that you can experience while you're here. Maybe this encouraged you to kind of take that step. Now, for any more information, you can visit the Esade undergrad Instagram page, and you can find more of the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon Podcasts. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next podcast.